Finally, an update on my big plant terrarium, including beautiful begonia and very cool terrarium plants, but also velvet and big aroids. Let's go! Hey friends, welcome back. Or if you're new, hi, I'm Rose. My pronouns are she, her. Today I'm going to show you inside my big terrarium to give you an update. Finally, let's go. If you don't know, I got this terrarium in October last year, October 2021. And we placed it here, I have to step back to show it to you, in our kitchen because it's the only empty wall that we had. Also, we couldn't carry it upstairs, which was the original plan because it was way too tall. This is more than 2 meters tall. In American or whatever, wherever else you use this, I am 5'9", 175, and the terrarium is much taller than me. I can reach the top, but just about. First, let's talk a bit about the practical updates that I've done since the last video. And if you don't know, I have a whole playlist, which you can find here, that has all the videos from the whole getting it here, the build, to how it is now. One of the big issues I was having is that it was getting way too dry. It wasn't humid enough. And as you can see, I have solved this issue by closing up the top. So there was this metal grate, a little bit like this kind of stuff up there. And instead of that, I've now used just plastic tape to close the top off. I've also changed the fan, which you can see in my previous chores video. That has definitely increase the humidity, the closing off, not the fan part, because the idea of the fan was that this would not be condensation anymore. That clearly didn't work yet. So it's still a work in progress, but the humidity now, oh, I stuck this on, which was great for life, but not so much for filming. Wait, can I show you what it says? The humidity now is 97 and the temperature is 17.9 or something. So it's a little bit cooler, but the humidity is super high. One thing I also didn't film is me ripping out the plants that were in here. The Anthurium I've all taken out because they were looking so horrible. They were struggling a lot. I actually had thrips in here for a long time, so it wasn't as fun to show you updates because it was just not doing very well. And I had a feeling that there was something wrong with the way that these plants were planted. They were definitely not happy. So I pulled all of them out. The Queen Anthurium, the Regale was down there, and then in the top the Forgetti as well. Pulled them all out, put them in plastic baggies, and they immediately started thriving. It was ridiculous. The Queen put out a new leaf within a few weeks, and the Anthurium Forgetti is also doing amazing in a higher humidity environment. That was before I did the top closing thingy. And the Regale that had 0 leaves left now has this leaf. Can you believe it? How big that is and beautiful. Humidity for Anthuriums is the secret. So these bits are still empty and I will hopefully plant the plants, the Anthuriums, back in there sometime soon-ish. I've also planted a lot of new plants in there, which I will show you. And other than that, not a lot has changed. Let's just open her up and show you. Ta-da! This is the right side. And you see, I planted a peperomia, what is the name again? Prostrata, the turtle, string of turtles, at the top there, which has been doing okay. Not thriving, but okay. Some of the Hoya have also been doing well. This Hoya Nung Nooch has made a tendril and a new leaf, which I used some moss to stick it back onto the wall so it has some stability and can keep on growing. Oh, it's going all the way there. See the tendril? There's a Hoya Huschkeliana here that's been growing that I've attached to the wall again a little bit with some moss. This is Hoya Pirac teddy bear, which is now relabeled Peninsularis, and it has grown bits, but then they've died back. I'm not sure if that was the situation or if there is secretly some flat mites happening. I currently don't have any flat mites, aka I'm blissfully unaware of any. I don't see any horrible issues with my plants. So for now, I'm good with not looking for flat mites. I've switched off the fan, so the audio is hopefully a little bit better now. There is a Curtisi here, which has attached itself to the rock, which I think is adorable and amazing. There's a Breviolata there that's not doing well. This Viola looks the same as the day that I planted it, so I don't know what's happening there. And then moving a little bit more to the front, this is Hoya Elliptica, which is adorable. It has grown a few tendrils, but not in a while. I feel like it's not super happy here, but we'll see. Maybe that was the thrips that were in here. I don't know. We're waiting and seeing what's happening. Then we have my little orchid, which, as you can see, a lot of the stems died here. I used to have a lot of leaves. This is, if you don't know, oh, I'm going to try and take some of the dead plants out in the meantime. We're doing chores. Ah, unexpected chores. Surprise, surprise. This is what it's supposed to look like. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. But a lot of the leaves died, and apparently that is normal. According to Rogier, at least from what I understand, it goes in phases of growing well and then not growing so well. Oh, and I wanted to tell you the name. It is Lepanthes calodictyon. Down here is actually a fern bit that currently doesn't get any light because I changed some things up, so I might have to change that. And there's this adorable orchid that is growing quite well. Look, there's a tiny new leaf there. So cute. I forgot this was something like Gravendale something, I think. You can see the nice pattern on the leaves if I do a little bit of a zoom in. So that seems to have recovered from the previous not happy state. If we're following the vines, by the way, these crinkly vines, they are lianas that you can buy at terrarium shops, and they are perfect for planting little orchids on. So I have one here, and I don't know what all of these are, probably bulbophyllums. And then this is one that's, oh wait, why are they so loose? They're not supposed to be so loose. These apparently are quite well known as well, but I'm not very knowledgeable in orchids. These little baby ones I got from a friend, and you can see there's some new pseudo bulbs growing. The little blobs at the bottom are called pseudo bulbs, and then there's a leaf coming out, and you see some fresh roots as well. If we there was a plant here as well, but that probably died. Following the liana to the other side, this is a very cute Phalaenopsis orchid. I forgot the name exactly, but you can see the roots, how they're supposed to grow. They're grabbing onto the thing, they're attached, and they're growing new bits. I love new orchid roots. There's one more here, but I think it's better to show you from the other side. Also, because we have the measuring thing of the thermostat hygrostat, which is not very cute, but necessary. So I'll go to the other side to show you that in a second, but you can see a lot of new roots and stuff. Up here is another orchid that I recently bought, actually, from orchids.nl. This apparently is a very cute one for in the terrarium. I haven't moved it off its little block yet because it was attached a lot. Oh, we can see the name because it still has a label. So this is Orthocephalus. Okay, never mind, don't try to pronounce this. Coquelicot something. Okay, but it's a very cute plant and I hope it will grow well. Here's some of my moss experiments. Deep sigh because it's not going too well. Although since I changed the setup, it is actually starting to look a little bit more green. So maybe it will come back. Maybe it will survive and come back. You'll see. There's a little bromeliad here, which I don't know, it doesn't do much for me. And also it doesn't do much for me. Like, I don't like it and it's not growing well. And then we have Hoya linearis. That took me a while, sorry. That is actively growing, so that's good. I think it likes it in here. I thought it would look adorable just hanging down here, soft, fuzzy, next to the big anthurium leaves. That will come back. There's some plants that are not looking great, but this has been looking like this for, I don't know, a year. So I'm just leaving it and hopefully it will maybe come back. Down here, I planted a little Cebu blue. That you can see some of the older leaves here. Everything is always covered in soil because everything falls down, of course. But I think that's going to be okay now that the thrips are gone. And this micans also is going to be better. Wait, here's a little close up. It was struggling a lot when there were thrips. And hopefully there are not any more. I'm just zooming in because I see some things that scare me. But I think we're okay. So I'm hoping these will climb up the wall and make it a little bit more full. On this side, actually, this one is easier to show you from this side. Look at this beautiful plant that I planted in here a long time ago after the market in October. So it's actually not that long ago. It's now middle of December. It hasn't done anything, but it still looks beautiful. So fingers crossed. Over here, I kind of skipped over my Monstera siltepecana, which is growing in the terrarium as well. And this has been growing quite well, even with the thrips damage. This one has little fenestrations. I don't know if that's ripped or actual fenestrations. Here are some of the more older leaves that were struggling a little bit, but I think it's doing okay. And then behind there is one of those blue oil ferns that, wait, If I spray this, you'll see it much better. It's very dusty right now. But this is the Microsorem thailandicum, the beautiful fern. And I'm surprised it's still alive in here because apparently they are quite fuzzy, but still doing okay. Down here we have this is also a fern, but a very fussy one. So I think it's easier to keep orchids alive in here than ferns somehow. There's a piece of Rhaphidophora. What is this one again? Oh, Cryptantha, I think. Oh, it's growing. I didn't realize it was growing. Look, this bit is new. I have to be careful. This leaf is new. I thought it was not getting, I actually still think it's not getting enough light down here. So that's why it's very slow. There's a Margravia down here. Oh, there's so much to show you down here. Wait, we're going to try and keep it a little bit organized. Here, I put a little lupinum, Philodendron lupinum, that is still in the pot. So it hasn't been planted yet. I have to do terrarium chores badly, but I haven't yet. And actually, yesterday, doing my Zoom call with my Patreons, I realized there is a new leaf here, and it's coming at the backside of this moss wall thingy, maybe to try and get a little bit more light. Definitely think it deserves better than what it's getting right now. Look how dark it is down there. We will see. I don't know yet what I'm doing with it. It's very cute and shimmery. I don't know if that comes across on screen. And then down there, also very cute. This is Philodendron Brantianum. That is very small down here, also probably because lack of light. But I have good hopes for it. Let's see. I don't know how to organize this because there's so much growing here. Let's just go from this side. We have a Calathea mosaica here. This seems to have been eaten a lot. It's a begonia that I bought for the terrarium, a very small one. But very nice dark leaves and pink. I feel like there's some snails still around. I have done a treatment against the slugs because I learned that the slugs, the ones without the shell, are actually the ones eating the plants, and the cute little ones with the shell apparently only eat decaying matter. At least that's what I found online. So I did a treatment against the slugs, and I do see a lot of dead slugs around, dehydrated leftovers that looks like it used to be slugs. So it's going well, and maybe this plant will recover now that I've done that and it's successful, but I'm going to keep an eye on it because still it looks half eaten. That's a bit sad. It deserves better. I'm going to give it a little bit more light for now. I'm going to put it here at the top. Let's see if that helps. Back to the bottom. Let's just go with the big ones. This is my most stunning Labicia. I got this from a lovely shop, and it actually has been growing so fast. From what I heard, Labicia are very, very slow, especially propagating them. But once they start growing, I feel like they are really fast. I don't know if the pink is coming across, maybe more on the older leaves. The pink on the edges and the veins is incredible. And I think I got it maybe with I think this whole bit is new. So it's been growing wild. Amazing. And this is another Labicia that I have. This is a Pumila that I got from my friend Sander. And again, I got it with maybe that bottom leaf there. So it's been growing really well. Just this one was struggling with thrips a lot when I had those. And now you can see that this is a good sign that the thrips are not here anymore, at least not on this plant, because there's no damage. The leaves are starting to size up again and looking beautiful. Just in case, I still have some treatment baggies here, Swirsky Ultimate. I work with a company called Entocare here in the Netherlands that provide me with these baggies, but also other treating bugs like the ones I use for mealybugs, the Cryptos larva, and just anything that I need, they have. So if you're in the Netherlands, you can always check out Entocare for these. And if you're in a different part of the world, this brand is international. Koppert is also in Canada and the US and stuff. So you can find another company that sells these more local to you. Because of course you can't ship bugs from across the world because they will die. Okay, let's continue on our Labicia path because we have a little one here that is so incredible. I got this from my friend Simon. And look at the pattern on these leaves. They are so crazy. And it's growing a new leaf as well. So it was a bit more slow. It's also a little bit smaller than the other ones. I hope it's starting to grow and gain size and stuff, because these can become quite big and impressive. Then here we have a little silver dragon. Funny enough, my alocasias that are in here are thriving the most. So I'm guessing that they do like higher humidity than what they're getting in the rest of my house. You can see some damage, pest damage here as well. But as far as I know, that's old leaves and it's gonna be okay. This is the abandoned plants corner. So some Hoya cuttings that have not done well, I threw in here, seeing maybe if they would root in the higher humidity. Most of them probably won't. They look very sad. But I put some pots of dead begonia here as well. And if we look here, something is coming back. And I don't know, I think this was the melanobulata, but I'm not quite sure. There were 2 begonias in here that died that I thought was very sad. I think one was the pavonina. Unfortunately, that didn't make it. Or maybe this is it, but I think it looks more like a melanobulata anyway. We will see. Fingers crossed that this is coming back. Begonia are much more resilient than I thought initially. Continuing over on this side, next to the cool Margravia is actually the coolest Margravia ever. Look at this. If you know, you know. This is the Margravia El Coca. Look at the shimmer of the leaves. I got it with tiny leaves like this. I hope it's focusing. And it's gained in size a little bit. It can grow much bigger though. And I think it has some kind of pest on there, some kind of scale. Yes, zoomed in I can see better that it is scale. So next time I email Entocare, I will ask for some scale treatments. And what I'm noticing next to it as well is that there's moss coming alive. So I really think that the higher humidity is setting in and plants are going to thrive more and moss is going to finally live, because this is what the rest of my moss is looking like right now. Pretty dead. We can see some bits of green. I'm impressed and excited. Yay. There's more Margravia growing all over the place. It's a very fast and easy plant. There's another piece of the blue oil fern here. I separated it into different parts and this part is down in the bottom. Here actually there's another begonia coming back. I thought that was dead. That's cute. Let me just take this big plant out there for a second. This is the queen that used to live up there. Wait, which light is the best for it? Wait, sorry for the mess. Maybe here, you can see it better. It grew this leaf after I put it in a plastic baggie, higher humidity and regular soil. I think part of the issue was that I put really well-draining mix and it was not holding on to any water. So anytime I did water the plants, which was not very often, it just wasn't getting enough water on the roots. And I think it dehydrated a lot. So as soon as I put it in my regular airy mix, so this is still quite chunky, and put it in the plastic baggie, this is what came out. Incredible. We'll pop that here for a second with the mess so I can better show you the bottom here. So one of the things that I absolutely love in here is the, I know the name, but I don't know the name, something Selaginella something willowy, and it's growing quite well. I don't know if the blue comes across, but it has a blue shimmer. And here are all the new leaves. It's kind of creepy because it looks a little bit like it's covered in scale, the stem. Do you see what I mean? And I cut it here so that it's going to grow new pieces. So there's going to be more. While we're here, also Begonia thelmae, which is incredible in terrariums. I highly recommend it. I literally threw this cutting on the ground and it's starting to grow already. This whole part is new. Also on the ground here, surviving. This was the plant actually that was on here before and it was struggling so much. It's an Epischia and I planted it into the soil. So clearly it wants a more moist mixture. Let's see, there's more Margravia down there. This begonia is also very cool. Very happy with this. This is Begonia guguensis that I thought had died in the heat wave last summer. Okay, so before summer, this whole thing was covered in beautiful, beautiful begonia. Then I came back from my holiday. There was a heat wave in Holland and they all died. So I'm really glad that this is coming back. It literally looked like there was nothing left of it. So don't give up on your begonias too quickly is my lesson. The only begonia that made it, which is hilarious if you've tried to grow this in your house, is Begonia amphioxus. Look at it. It's flowering all over the place. It's thriving when in your home, this is such a tricky begonia. Actually, the flowers might be from another plant. I don't know. There's another little baby begonia in here. So if you're a begonia knower and you're like, that's not the flowers of amphioxus, then don't hate me. Yeah, I think here you can see they're not the flowers of amphioxus. I lied. Sorry. There's another branch growing here on the amphioxus. Some leaves falling down. Some dead leaves of the gigas because that was struggling a lot with thrips infestation. I had a gigas growing up here. You can see a nice example of thrips damage here. And you can see the new leaf looking so much better. And this is all old thrips damage as well. If you see your new leaves turning brown, that could be a sign of thrips. New leaves turning brown and mushy like this. One more plant that we're going to show from this side is this stunning, I'm going to lift it up a little bit more so you can see it better. This is also a Labicea pumila that I bought from Ruperoop. Very nice shop with a lot of terrarium plants like begonia and Labicea. This was 50 euros. So they are Very expensive for very small plants, at least compared to aroids, if you know what I mean. But look at how beautiful it is. It's just speaking to me. I love it. Oh, and I didn't show you because I filmed it, but I forgot to include in a previous video. But I put some good bugs in here, like isopods. Oh, and there's actually more to show you from this side. There's an Alocasia zebrina in the back there, so you can see a leaf there and a leaf here. That definitely would like a little bit more light. But to survive, I put my begonia ferox in here after the melanubulata passed away, which maybe it's coming back, but still. I bought myself this beautiful ferox at a very cool shop in Dordrecht in the Netherlands. And I noticed that in my house it was not very happy. So I popped it in here. It's still in the pot, but it's definitely a lot happier now with the higher humidity. It's finally growing leaves again. So it's blocking a little bit of the light at the bottom at the moment, and also of that beautiful shiny plant there. But yeah, this is like survival of winter. Afterwards I can fix it again. Time to switch over to the other side. And this back window actually doesn't have a thingy anymore like this. It broke off, so it's always a bit of a struggle. And since it's so big, the windows are very heavy. Okay, let's see. Other side. At the top, this is where the Alfonso Forgetti used to be. It's not anymore. We have an orchid here, a Masdevallia orchid, which grows very cute flowers, but not currently because I don't think it's very happy here. It's a little bit like loose and maybe too dry as well. Maybe with the higher humidity, it's gonna recover. Let's look at some of the Hoya Huskeliana. Oh, it's a bit tricky because I'm blocking the light with my hand. Huskeliana is growing very well. I like that it's growing up this rock now, so it has some support. This is Hoya Gunungading. That's also growing well, and unfortunately it had a new leaf. I broke it off when I was looking at it, but so far this has definitely worked with the Hoya in the background. We have some little Breviolata Hoya in here as well, and one of those. Oh, it's gonna flower. Look, this is a very typical terrarium plant. Maybe I should give it some support so it can connect to the wall, because this is just hanging. And the name is something P. Oh, if you know, please, with the timestamp in the comments, that would be very helpful. Maybe I'll remember, but I forgot right now. Here in this little pot, I planted my Hoya Thomsoni, the white one, because I noticed it wasn't doing very well before. I think this is new. Ah, it's lots of new growth. Careful. Oops. Oh, there's new leaves. There's new leaves coming. Okay, sorry for screaming, but look. So this had not done anything for a long time. And now it's growing again. Yay! I'm really surprised and happy with how well the Hoya have adjusted in here. I just had the idea because it was so dry on the back wall before, which it's not anymore, but I feel like they love it in here. So yay! I love Hoya and they love it in here. Oh, I didn't show you this one. So I put one of them, Rhaphidophora, on this bit here because I noticed that it was not getting enough light at the bottom. Oh, look at that moss. I'm really impressed with the moss. Okay, so for me, this is a lot of moss growth. I think Benji will be proud of me. Ha. So this started to grow, but then thrips happened. You see a lot of struggle. And I think it's finally starting to grow again a little bit. Maybe I have to tie it up because plants like to be attached, at least to have some support, to be solid. So I think I'm going to give it a little bit of support later. Then here, oh yeah, the orchid that I was going to show you from this side, you can see much better. All of these roots are new. It's fully attached to the branch, so I could even take the little bit of pantyhose off. That's how I tie my plants up. Rogier taught me that. And this new leaf, and I think it's growing another one there. So it's going really well. And this orchid seems to have also grown a new leaf. I didn't know that yet. These were all very small cuttings I got from friends, so it's just little experiments. And one more here in the back. This one is a little bit loose, so maybe it needs some more support before it starts to grow. On the wall here, we have some more of those crawler terrarium plants that I was talking about before. I still don't know the name. Here's the little zebrina that I showed you before. Here's another Masdevallia with a lot of sad leaves, unfortunately. A little bit blocking the light as well of the gigas. Oh, look at the roots. That looks like a lot of dead orchid roots. So this might need some love and attention. But like I said, I've been a little bit behind on care. It's going to be okay. We have a little Ruellia macoiana, which gets very nice red backs, but not in my care. So maybe it needs more light, maybe it needs less light. I don't know. Then we have a Alocasia Black Velvet, which you can also see the pest damage on. Hopefully the newest leaves will look beautiful again. And down here, a lot more. We actually also have a lot of mushrooms popping up. The inky mushroomy things, I don't know the official name. And a Begonia Clepiolata, I think it's called. Nope, I actually confused that with an Alocasia name. This is Begonia Cleopatra. And Margravia, they're crawling all over the place anyway. And in the back there, definitely hard to see, is a blue oil fern again, a Microsorum thailandicum, and a piece for the isopods that apparently they like. In the front here, there's a few Syngonium, Peperomia, that are not getting a lot of light because these two Calathea are really starting to gain in size. I planted this as a tiny, tiny plant, and look at it now. It's very soft, this one. This is Calathea Wurzelwicki, and might be now Tsananti or Glupertia, I don't know. And the Orbifolia as well. Look at this new leaf. Very cool, but also now a little bit tricky because it's so big now. I'm seeing something weird here. I don't know what that is. Might be a little mushroom, or I don't know. If you know what that is, please let me know. And then I've been skipping over them a little bit because I wanted to keep the two big aeroids last because I love them a lot. I planted these in here a while ago because I noticed that it was so bare. I don't want to see the back wall. I want to see plants. So I decided to plant some quicker growing plants in here, like this Philodendron glorious. I keep saying the name wrong, but this is actually a glorious. And again, you can see some pest damage on here, some adjustment damage as well. I stuck it against the back wall, so hopefully it will attach there. And this is the newest leaf that it grew. So it's going quite well. Then down here, actually, I just realized yesterday, there used to be an anthurium here. I think it was a silver blush anthurium. And I think it's coming back. Do you see that little point? So I'm very surprised. It was very dead right away when I planted it, but I think it's coming back. And then we have the Atapapuense that I planted in here with maybe leaves the size of this in my window in the front of the house. And I thought maybe it wants some more humidity and some more support, some more space to grow. And look at it now. So big. I love these. I showed you this in the Shores video as well, but the backs are so red. And I gave it a little stick, so hopefully it's definitely going to increase in size more. And now that the humidity is higher, actually, oh, sorry, my rings. You can see the roots start to look very different. They're starting to look like water roots instead of aerial roots. And I told you in that other video as well, but this guy, the aerial roots just grow in very weird directions. So they're all growing upwards. I don't know. That's a personal decision. I don't think it's very smart, but as long as he's thriving, he's fine. As you can tell, there's quite a lot to do. I have to replant the anthuriums. I have to take some sad plants and give them some love. I have to plant some of the pots still that were in there. So that will be a separate video, terrarium chores. For now, I'm posting this one. I hope you enjoy it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe below if you haven't already. And if you have any questions about this terrarium, please also ask them in the comments so I can answer them in the terrarium chores video. I'm also creating extra content in the month of December. So if you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know in the comments as well. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Thanks so much for being here, friends. Bye!